Hi, my name's Frank Antonucci, and for my MultiModal project, I decided to play the game called The Plan, and more specifically, to address how life and death are interpreted within our culture. So, without further ado, let's dive into this. The Plan was developed as a side project by Crowbite Studios while they were working on another game. However, as it is easily notable, they spent an obvious amount of time on this side project to create a game with incredible detail, all the way from the fly to the trees on the side. As far as gameplay goes, each player will eventually figure out that the fly can only go up in direction. But take caution, because there are many twists and turns on this journey. While on the topic of addressing this journey that you embark on with the fly, there's a vast amount of imagery that you can pull from in order to get the true purpose out of this game. First off, there are many obstacles that you face in the form of spider webs, wind, leaves. Yet the most interesting quality of this game is the fact that each obstacle stands for the struggles that we face every day of our lives. On the other hand, the fly is a representation of our own personal journeys, and furthermore the fact that no matter what happens in your life, you must keep pushing forward, and it is critical to do that because there is always more ahead of you. So at a certain point in this game, you ascend into what looks to be space. During this brief period, the player is challenged to take in what is going on as the environment has drastically changed and it becomes unsure what will happen next. Crazy ending, right? Well, that's what Crowbite Studios was going for. Their goal in creating this game was for each player, after they finish, to look inside themselves and question why that happened. Why throughout the course of the game you face the obstacles you do, why you can only keep going up, and why the only thing you can do at the end is fly into the light. Well, when you think about it, you apply it again to life. Okay? Now, if you look at their website, they say every word of this useless print that you read is another second of your life. Those are powerful words. When you go and apply them to this game, it makes you think, what's distracting me from living my life? Am I focusing too hard on work, school, or anything else in my life that's keeping me from continuing to move forward? That's keeping me from going around these obstacles, whatever's going on, and truly living my life how I should be. Some interesting articles that relate to this representation of life and death that we've been talking about so far in this video are these two articles that I found. The first being called "Death by Video Games, a Power Like No Other." A couple quotes from that. They say, "Games take us out of ourselves to such an extent we forget where we are. A video game gives us the sense of being in control, of being the author of our destiny." That's the plan in a nutshell. Ultimately, you do play the game just like everyone else. You go through the same obstacles. However, at the very end, you can interpret the afterlife, let's call it that, as whatever. And furthermore, in this article written by Gabby D'Arienzo called "Death Positivity in Video Games," gives us the idea of this new movement called death positivity. Essentially what this is, by definition of this author, is that it challenges people within video games to face their own mortalities and be open, talking about death in its full form. She says the first video game that really did this very well was The Sims. It gave people the opportunity to come to terms with their own moralities. So I asked a few of my friends and my professor for this class what they thought about the plan. And I got answers all across the board. However, for the most part, there was a general consensus about a few things. For the first part, the general consensus was that the beginning was very annoying per se in learning that it is not a complex game and there essentially is no point. Even though this game can be beaten in 5 minutes, they all thought it was very lengthy. However, as they faced obstacles and eventually ascended into space, they all agreed it was a more introspective and dramatic moment. When the fly finally rises into the light, they were all shocked that the game could end like that. In having discussions afterward, again the general consensus was that they could identify with the bug and that life is beautiful, filled with so many interesting moments that you must power through until you reach the end of your journey, in which death happens and everything you come to know and love just ends. So in closing, I'd like to address anyone who may look at the plan and not consider it a true game. I'm going to reference an article that we read in class about the hegemony of play, in which it says, the hegemony of play marginalizes those who do not fit the hardcore gamer demographic. Effectively, the hegemony of play is the general idea of how people look at video games or what they consider to be a true video game. This is really followed by mainstream gamers who play games like Call of Duty or League of Legends or any, again, mainstream game. In response to this, I'm going to refer to another article by Anna Anthropy that we read, in which she says, games, digital and otherwise, transmit ideas and culture. A painting conveys what it's like to experience the subject as an image. A game conveys what it's like to experience the subject as a system of rules. As someone who really believes in the afterlife, I look at the plan and I can really relate to it. I can relate to the obstacles living within life. I can relate to taking a moment to really reflect on life itself and, maybe what I can be doing better. And that's why I love this game. It really gave me a moment to be introspective and, as I said, kind of look to see how I can better myself. So, in typical The Plan fashion, I'm going to end my analysis on this note.
All this feels strange and untrue, and I won't waste a minute without you.